All right, welcome to another excellent release at Canal Place this weekend. I am doing the full review a day ahead, and this one is Hyperspectral. It's our newest double New England IPA. Uses 6 hops: Yukonot, Idaho 7, Sabro, Cascade, Simcoe, and Zythos. So we haven't used really more than 6 hops as a combination among our Canal Place releases, or the Valley for that matter. But we used it here for a reason, which I'll get to. But 6 hops gives it a complex flavor profile. Now, a lot of IPAs actually work better with more hops. Each hop gives a particular characteristic to the aroma or the flavor that it kind of balances a different hop. Some IPAs work well with 1 hop, or Citra IPA. Some work well with a couple. The Legends, that's 3 hops. This is 6. So it's kind of what you're trying to create. So it's a lot more balanced. The flavors are meshed together, the hop flavors. So you're going to get a little bit of Citra, a little bit of stone fruit, a little bit of berry, a little bit of melon, a little bit of pine. They're all going to mend together. And what about this name, Hyperspectral? That's another geeky term. I was reading Google News, the Science Edition, late one night. Probably had a few too many beers. Came across this new article on this new hyperspectral imaging technique where the scanner isn't looking at a certain spectrum of images like the ultraviolet or the X-ray or the infrared, but it's looking at all of them together, and it's assembling this data into a hyperspectral cube for analysis. So you can point this camera at an object and get this tremendously complex image that you can then automatically say, hey, this image is this exactly. This object is made out of all of this. So stuff like that. It's pretty powerful. Think of, in layman's terms, this is predator vision. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's got the visible spectrum to look at things at. The predator's got the infrared spectrum. What if you combine the two and have those eyeballs? That is pretty powerful. And imagine doing that further across the electromagnetic spectrum. Those were some eyes that a lot of people would kill for and pay a lot of money for. So this is kind of that. It's predator vision, but with hops. So what's the history of the beer? Well, this beer actually came from the future. Its parents were from the future. You're like, what? Like, we're not going to get into the details, but it's true. You just got to trust us. A lot of the ideas that went into this beer came from a future version. So how is the process of this beer different than any of our other double New Englands? Well, it shares most of the commonalities, but in the way we hopped it is different. So this is a small batch, 20 barrels. We made a yeast starter on the first day, just a little yeast starter, about 2 barrels. And then on the second day, we brewed the first third of the batch. And on the third day, we brewed the second 2/3 of the batch. Now, where we usually make our double New England IPAs, between the first third and the second 2/3, we use the same hops, just in different quantities to adjust for the volume changes. This time, for the first third of the batch, we used Citra, Centennial, and Cascade. For the second 2/3 of the batch, I had the brewers choose which hops that they would want to use to complement the first 3. So they chose Idaho 7, Yukonot, and Simcoe. So this was kind of a cool internal collaboration. You know, I had the first third based on a future batch. They had the last 2/3, which made up the bulk of the hops based on what they chose would pair well. And how did we do as a team? Let's check this out. This got canned a couple days ago. I'm picking up some pineapple already. Get any sediment. So very fruity aroma. You get a little bit of all those notes I spoke earlier: citrus, stone fruit, berry, pineapple, a little bit of coconut. And each of you will probably focus on one of those. You'll pick that up more from another person. It's got some good haze on it. It's got a little heat to start out with, 8.5%. Then that mellows out into the hop signature, which is, like I said, complex. No one hop stands out. It's kind of like the 6 of those hops came together and made an entirely new hop. So that's this beer in a nutshell. A couple of fruit pairings. As with a lot of double New England IPAs, they have all very similar fruit pairings. Hawaiian pork, tenderloin, fried clams, charcuterie. All double New Englands are great with charcuterie. They blend well with the fats of the cheeses and the meats. Cheese pairings, sharp cloth-bound cheddar, and goat blue. And that's it. We hope to see you this release weekend.